determined that this would be the year that we would commit to going to Africa. We didn't know where, we didn't know when. And then through conversations with our leadership team and with James, who grew up as a missionary in Africa, things started to take shape. And we've determined that we're going to be visiting 2 countries. We'll go to Zambia, and we'll look at several mission sites throughout Zambia, and then we'll go to South Africa as well. And we're going to meet at least 3 different mission organizations, and then we're going to come back and we're going to share with you, and together we're going to say, okay, this is what we're going to do as a church. And then about Kiva, we haven't really started promoting Kiva yet, but the year's not through. Some of you have heard about Kiva, many of you probably haven't. Kiva is it's the world's first person-to-person lending loan site, internet loan site. Essentially, Kiva enables you to make loans to entrepreneurs in places like Africa whom banks wouldn't even take a second look at. Banks would never give loans to these entrepreneurs because they're too high risk. And Kiva gets in on the ground level and works with these people. And just to give you a personal story, last May I sponsored someone in Togo $50 to start a small food market. And I got a notification in December that the lady that I sponsored in Togo had repaid 30% of my loan, so it's not like a donation, it's more of a loan. And they have a 98.5% repayment rate on these loans, so they're very successful. These people, when they're given money, they produce work, and they demonstrate themselves industrious. So I had 30% of my loan repaid, and I matched that with another $10, and then I sponsored someone in Ghana, $25, so she could begin a market selling smoked fish. So that just gives you an idea of what Kiva is about, and you'll be hearing more about Kiva in the months to come. Because when you look at Africa, it's not just about aid, it's also about trade. It's about helping Africans to become entrepreneurs and to provide for themselves. So it's not an either or. But the bottom line is we're on our way to becoming a global church. Global means that you simultaneously are involved locally in your own context and community, and you're also involved globally. I want to share something exciting that we're doing on a local context. And this totally blew me away. This was a grassroots idea. Someone who's not even in leadership in this church pitched this idea to the staff last month. And we said, it sounds like a good idea. Church has changed. So what we're going to do is February 27, River City Church is going to sponsor a dance. All right? At the Saginaw Country Club. And we're going to have a professional DJ. There's going to be this huge buffet table with like loads of food and what else? Prizes and so forth. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't go to a dance and not have fun. All right? Like, even if you don't like dancing, sitting on the side and watching other people dance, watching me dance, that'll be fun. All right? So, but this dance is fun with a purpose, because the proceeds that are generated through this all of the proceeds are going to go to the Bridges shelter here in Cambridge. Okay, so we're doing this not for ourselves, to address financial concerns at River City Church or whatever. We're doing this for our community. And when it came to deciding what organization to bless in our community, it was a no-brainer. We didn't even have the opportunity to make a choice about this, because for some reason, and those of you who call this church home know this, God has kind of put us in relationship with the Bridges, and the Bridges in relationship with River City. We've got several staff from the Bridges who come to this church. We've walked alongside former Bridges residents through their road to recovery. Chris Spinney is probably the best example. And almost every week we are blessed at this church to have people who are recipients of the work and the ministry of the Bridges at our services. And we count it an honor that people who are rebuilding their lives are coming to this church. And so we're going to have a dance, and we're going to do some crazy stuff, and we're going to have a fundraiser for the Bridges. And that's one of the things that we're doing on the local level. Initiative number 2 is to be more socially responsible as a church, and you've seen the cafe that we've redone. We now have fair trade coffee that we serve. And that means that the farmers who grow and harvest the coffee that we serve, they get a fair wage. they can provide for themselves and for their families. Just a small step. Initiative 3 was to find a facility that would put us into closer contact with the community, especially the non-church going community. And so in July, we made our move to the movie theater, and we've been here, almost half a year. And I think it's been good. Has it been good? Yeah. We've seen new people come to church, and without a doubt, this is where we need to be. I mean, after service, it's so cool. We go to the food court, and there's usually, anywhere from half a dozen to 24 people enjoying meals with new friends and newcomers to the church. When we have pizza parties like we're going to have next week, by the way, bring your friend to church next week. They'll get a free lunch out of it. You'll get a free lunch. We have a pizza party in the food court. I mean, it's just a great way, and it's a witness to our community. People see this, like 16 tables linked together in the food court, and they can't help but wonder, man, that's a large family, right? So, initiative number 4 was to develop an ongoing church planting culture. And as you know, Kevin Seguin, a Heritage Bible College student, is planning to plant a church in Waterloo, and he's officially on an internship at this church. We're supporting him, and we will continue to support him to see his dream come to fruition. And then initiative number 5, which I want to end with, was to develop an effective home group model. And as a step toward this initiative, we revamped how we do home groups at River City Church. Instead of just starting in September and going to the end of June and saying to people who've never been in a home group before, come and join us until Jesus comes back. That was a joke, by the way. We now have a semester system, so people can sign up for a class. They can sign up, and there's a definite start date, there's a definite end date, anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks. And we just completed our first semester. It ran from October through the first week of December, and we had a 40% increase in the number of people who were in home groups this fall from anything that we'd ever had before. So that's, I think, a success. And we're looking forward to the new semester, home group semester, which starts, as Melissa said, in a week. And this is really cool. We've got kind of 2 main categories of groups. We've got a group called Christianity Explored, which is if you're exploring Christianity or if you're a brand new believer, this is a group for you. And it meets once a week for 8 weeks or so. And Heather Lehman, who's a brand new Christian, she was baptized in October, is hosting this group at her home. So you don't have to be intimidated about, oh, they're going to know all the answers. Like, this is a group for people who are exploring Christianity. And then most of our home groups are going to be doing the book series that Melissa just held up, which is going to dovetail in the Life is Good message series. So home groups and Sundays are just going to kind of work together. And this is something I'm really excited about. And the way I look at it is like an iceberg. If you come to church on Sundays and you go to the Life is Good series, but you don't link into a home group, you don't get into a relationship with other people outside of this, then I think you're going to get some benefit out of it, but it's going to be like the top 10% that you see. And if you take what you're hearing on Sundays and you apply it in a home group that meets sometime during the week, at a time that works with your schedule, then you're going to get the added 90% that'll take you so much deeper.